Alright, so I'm gonna cut right to the chase. We all love Black Myth Wukong now, don't we? It's not the hardest game, it's no Elden Ring in terms of difficulty, but it still has its fair share of hard boss fights. And so these are, in my opinion, the 10 hardest boss fights in the game. Though some of these may vary, as you can take them both early or late in the game, and that probably affects a lot when you take on some of these bosses earlier or later. So, alright, with that, let's just get into it. At number 10, we have the Yaksha King. Now, this fight took me a couple of tries, but it's so well designed and so stylish that I had fun all those times. It would have been easier than it actually was if Zhu Bajie didn't yeet out of there like he actually did. At number 9, we have Kang Jin Star. I don't know why, but for some reason, I really struggled with this one. I always easily got her health down to half, but whenever she started raining down those thunder blasts, it was over for me. I finally got her after a few good tries. I'm kind of ashamed to admit how many tries this one took me because I haven't seen anyone else say that Kang Jin Star was a hard boss fight. Alright, now number 8, this is the most famous one, the Tiger Vanguard. This is easily one of my favorite boss fights in the entire game. It's my recordings and attempts at this fight that are playing in this video. It took me 4 tries to get him, and I personally enjoyed every single try so much. I loved how fast he was, how cool dodging him and attacking him looks. The art style, the arena, everything is just really fucking cool. But now, these next 7 fights are just much harder. So, at number 7, we have the Great Sage's Broken Shell, the final boss of the game, and he did not disappoint. Now, a lot of people are probably thinking, why is he so low? He should be at the very top of the list. But the truth is, he wasn't that hard for me. Because before I got to him, I had already taken down the secret boss who will be on this list. And I had already got the staff and transformation you get after defeating that secret boss, which made defeating the Great Sage's Broken Shell a lot easier as someone who mostly uses thrust stance throughout the game. It didn't take me more than a few tries to slay him. I sadly did not even get those cool ass moments where he immobilizes you and steals your gold and all those other cool moments that I've been seeing edits of these last few weeks. I I was kind of pissed off that I defeated him so easily. Alright, at number 6, we have a boss which can both be very easy and very hard, depending on which version of him you have to fight. It's the Bishui Golden Eyed Beast. God, this fight fucking frustrated the shit out of me. I was mostly not even able to get half his health down before getting scorched alive, even with high fire resistance. My dumbass wasn't able to find out the secret path where you could just find an ice version of him, which was much easier. It took me like 8 tries before I found that out, and then I just cheesed his ice version on the first try without any mana left. Now, at number 5 is probably going to be another surprise, but it's the Dusk Whale. He's not the hardest, but for me, he ended up being really frustrating. His first phase is just so easy, but that's the worst part. When you get to his second phase and you die, you just have to do that boring, easy as fuck first phase again and again. And this fight is a cinematic masterpiece, but the difficulty difference between both his phases is crazy. His attacks were almost undodgeable for the most part during his second phase for me, and it took me quite a while to take him down. Okay, with number 4, we're getting to the good stuff now. It's Yin Tiger. Bro's the goat for real. I stumbled upon this secret location in chapter 3, and that's where I first fought him. And I kept fighting him for hours and hours until I defeated him. I didn't get frustrated at all because it's just such a perfect fight, in my opinion. I loved every second of every try that I did. Learning and dodging his patterns was just so much fun, and he's a fucking blacksmith who upgrades your armor. So, yeah, that's a win. Now, number 3, I was scratching my hair during my last few tries before I got him. The Scorpion Lord is probably the single most fastest boss in the game. It's also crazy that his attacks can follow you all over the arena, no matter what. He auto tracks you, and this boss fight really tested my patience. My god. At one point, I just started blaming myself that why did I not leave him alone like he asked me to. We could have been friends, but the struggle just made kicking his ass even better at the end. I didn't really find his reward that useful, but the achievement was just ending him for real. He wasn't the only motherfucker in chapter 4 who tested my patience. I fucking despise and hate the yellow loong with everything that I have. He was on my fucking nerves. After the first few tries, I was like, yeah, it's a little hard, but we can do it. But after a lot more tries, I actually wanted to delete the fucking game out of existence. I was so frustrated and so angry whenever I died to him after a while. Not only he's just generally hard, the performance of the game for some reason is totally fucked during his boss fight. For context, I played the game on PS5 on quality mode, so it was already 30 FPS, but imagine it lagging and going down even more. Whenever he went up to do his aerial spam attack, the game fucking lagged so much for me that I wasn't even able to dodge. So it's not just the boss fight that is hard here. The frame drops during this one made it even harder, and this is one of the only few areas fights that I had frame drop during in the whole game, and that's why it was such a big deal that the performance in this area was just so ass. Not to mention that bro just spams the same fucking moves over and over again. Okay, with that rant done, the number 1 is a really positive one because the hardest boss fight in this game for me was Erlang, the sacred divinity. I'm pretty sure it's the hardest fight for almost everyone, and that's totally fair. If you thought Tiger Vanguard, Scorpion Lord, or Yellow Loong were hard, Erlang is much harder than all of those. He will humble you. But the best thing is that it's an amazing boss fight where I never got frustrated. Erlang has insane aura and I never felt demotivated after dying to him. It always felt like an honor to me. Sorry for the glazing, but I have to. Like, just look at bro. The fact that he also cancels most of your transformations also fucks things up. And then he starts getting more aggressive as his health goes down. He just doesn't let you do anything when only a quarter of his health is left. You wanna buff up, you wanna drink the gourd, you wanna have to pause the game and then unpause because you have got some urgent call or something. Don't even think about any of those because Erlang just won't let you. Just be thankful if your key has recharged and you can bully him with the tornado, or that you're already buffed up with body fleeting and fortifying potions, so that your stamina doesn't run out while dodging his never ending combos. Beating him gave me so much satisfaction that I almost cried. It took me 4 to 5 days, I think 4 days specifically, and I put in like 2 or 3 hours every day to finally beat him. The rewards also are totally worth it, and I took an Erlang when I just started chapter 6. So that made all the fights in chapter 6 so much easier. I think I probably got all of them on the first try except for the great sages, and even him I only took like 3 to 4 tries. So yeah, that's when. With that, I think this video is done, and these were the top 10 hardest Black Myth Wukong boss fights in my opinion.